Are made the show where we believe that we can help you become a millionaire in all six aspects of health. Today, we're focusing on your spiritual health. Very important. We've got three awesome millionaires in spiritual health, hopefully. Um, Millionaires are made. Why do we have this show? What do we do? Well, it's built on the premise that every person you meet knows something that you don't. There's something to be learned from everyone. So we bring four awesome guests from all around the world, and they'll give us a little piece of advice. Today we're learning about nature, how to improve your spiritual health with nature. It's going to be a fun one. We've got three awesome guests. And remember, we keep this as real and authentic as possible. I just met all these guests about 10 minutes ago. I just learned their tips because I want to prevent as much bias or any sort of coercion as possible. So they are all on their own. They came up with their own tips. They're their own people. There's no bias here. I just met them. They sound awesome. It's going to be a great show. We're ready to have a fun time. Our sponsor, almost missed it. Our sponsor today is alliances.com. It's a group for people that want to grow, people that want to be better, people that want to meet, people want to know. Really good for entrepreneurs and business people, but virtually anyone is accepted. So check them out. I think it's alliances.com. That link should be posted right below. Perfect. And if you want to be a guest, feel free to come sign up. www.millionairesaremade.com. We'd love to have you, as well as if you have another topic. Today's topic is nature and spiritual health. If you have anything that you're interested in or learning about or finding people in or finding more advice about something, let us know that topic. We'd love to get you on, to get that topic scheduled and then find some guests for it as well. Without further ado, we are going to bring out our first guest. Oh, just kidding. I lied. I have to give you my tip. Nature. What's the best thing to do there? Well, you can go for a walk, you can ski, you can do all sorts of stuff. But sometimes those take planning, cost money. So for me, I think the overrated practice of picnicking, whether it could be in a park in a metropolis, great. As long as you got some green around you, some flowers, maybe in the springtime, shoot, do it in the middle of the winter, make an igloo picnic. But I think picnicking is overlooked, and it's a great way to go enjoy a meal with someone, a meal by yourself, a meal with a group in nature, and enjoy what we have been given on this earth. Now it's time to bring out Kim, the pause lady. Kim, who are you?
Hi, I'm the pause lady, as it says here, but I'm actually a advisor, a coach, and a connector. I host events and I bring people together to expose them and also connect so they can share their brilliance with each other.
Awesome, I like it. Connecting brilliance, beautiful. All right, Kim, I've got a tough one. Hopefully, you've been thinking about this. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health using nature, what simple tip could you give me?
Simply take a pause for just maybe 5 minutes a day or a minute a day. Just take a pause away from the chaos and unplug and breathe.
Unplug and breathe. Is there anything specific we should be thinking about during this pause?
No, so it's really about you and getting inside of yourself. So we're so connected to these devices, right? So it's just really getting into who you are and just figuring, it's not like you have to do one thing. It's to breathe and just getting inside and getting back to you, which is your nature. You are nature.
You are nature. I like that. I like that. Okay, Kim. I have just one more question, I guess. Where on your life journey did you learn this advice? Where did it come about?
Yeah, so I'm a computer scientist by trade. I've been doing it for over 35 years, helping revamp companies. And I found myself, I was one of the first adopters of social media, and I found myself actually diving into that way too much. So it's a balance, right? It's okay to be in it. So around 10 years ago, I actually disconnected from social media for a whole year and my device. And the
No
only
way.
yeah. And it was when the infrastructure was in place, right? And I wrote about it every day. I had more time, right? More time back. And I discovered so much about really just myself. And also, I was able to explore, spend time with the birds, do a lot of writing. And, it was just a beautiful experience. And I do that now. My husband and I will take bike trips, and we'll take 7 days, and we'll set the rule to disconnect from our devices and, put, a framework around it just in case there's an emergency, right? But we disconnect, and it's a great transformational experience.
Let me ask you this. So I guess how do you run business or work or something like that?
Yeah, so I have been working remote since remote wasn't popular, right? I would go into companies and help them transform. So sometimes I'd travel, sometimes I'd be working from home, right? And I still was connected to the devices, doing my meetings and so on. But we really didn't have to use our phones very much, right? Because just like right now, we're talking. We're not on our device or anything. So, but the big thing that I found when I was disconnected from social media was that a lot of my family members stayed connected through social media, and that was their platform. So I would miss out on some communication. So there was some learning around, okay, well, I'm going to have to communicate to them to let them know I'm off, and you'll have to communicate separately in a different way. So yeah, so there's just, you work your way around it, but you always communicate with the other people so that they know, just like I said, you have to have some emergency mechanisms in place. So like if we're traveling and my 35-year-old daughter wants, if there's something that comes up, right, she has a way to get a hold of us.
So you said you and your husband will go on a trip and disconnect for like a week.
Yeah.
Are there other people that have joined you in this nature journey?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. In fact, I actually did a pilot concept in July, and 300 people practiced pausing for 15 minutes a day. Now, they did it different ways. We talked about how breaking up during the day, whatever. But again, it's about empowering you to have the freedom to choose how you disconnect.
Something that I've done for probably about 2 years now is I have an alarm at 6:30 and an alarm at 8, and from 7 to 8 p.m. every day there's no phone.
Awesome. I love it. That's great.
Sometimes there's some angry people, but it's just
how does that work for you?
For me, I mean, I love it, but a lot of my team they like to have me available at all times. I mean, I'm getting blown up right now. I see all the messages, and even just doing the show in between shows, I have to go respond to some things. But
it'll always be there. It'll always be there.
Problems and fires will always be there. Awesome. Well, that's a fantastic little tip. Thank you so much, Kim. I'm going to move on to our next guest.
Thank you for having me.
And our next guest here is Ty. Ty, how are you doing, my man?
Hey, how's it going, Austin?
I'm doing great. Can you tell me a little bit about who are you?
Yep. So, when I'm a father of 4.
Ooh, congrats.
I am a husband to my wife for 21 years.
Damn, good for you.
And professionally, I'm a mortgage consultant here in Arizona, and also a business consultant here in Arizona.
Very cool. What city in Arizona?
Specific city is Litchfield Park, but it's basically the Phoenix area, Phoenix Valley.
Oh, well, you definitely should check out Eliance's in, because they're based out of Phoenix. So that's
all right. Perfect. Yeah, that you can tell from my portrait back here with the cacti.
Yeah, I'm in a coffee shop in the Virgin Islands, and it's raining like crazy. We got 78 degrees, but raining. Wow. All right, well, Ty, I guess let's get into the nitty gritty. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with nature, what simple tip would you give me?
Simple tip would be to just get outdoors and embrace whatever the nature's giving you. Whether it's just a sunny day like here in Arizona most of the year, or a rainy day like we just had yesterday, just embrace that rain coming down and hitting on you. Or just, I mean, I have all three of them. I live right by a mountain here, so as soon as I get out of my office, I can look at it. I get a lot of sunlight here in Arizona. We had a rainy day yesterday, so I would just say get out and embrace it.
So you're saying even if it's pouring rain out there, I need to go out and just enjoy it?
Oh yeah, even better. Feel that rain coming down on you.
All right, I guess I know what I'm doing after this show.
Yeah, for you,
I'm
right?
gonna go get a little wet, get a swimsuit on. Maybe it's pouring.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome. That's a great tip. I guess tell me about how you came to that tip. Where in your life journey did you realize it's important to just get out and enjoy whatever the elements are in nature every day?
You know, spiritual health kind of started growing on me more. I mean, within nature has been growing on me more within the last 5 years, I would say.
Okay.
I grew up a Catholic, so I'm still Catholic, but not much of a practitioner doing it anymore, you know. But in the last 5 years, just something really big has hit the core of our family here, wife and I, and I think we connected more with nature. We live in Arizona, where there's a lot of really cool spots, especially Sedona, Arizona. There, I don't know if you've heard of the vortex of energy. So though it's my wife and I's number one spot that we like to go hike or just go for the day. It's about an hour and a half from Phoenix area, and that I think started opening up more into the nature. Like I said, growing up a Catholic was more of structure, right? But um, with nature, it's more like just just embracing everything and feeling everything and seeing the miracle of a huge mountain there, or like the energy that you get from a creek going along the side, the water, the trees, how they bloom and how they shed all their leaves. Like just everything within nature has given me a different aspect of life and my spiritual health.
Tell me what is the vortex?
Okay, so
Yeah, you knew
so
that
the
was coming.
vortex, yeah, I know I brought it up, right? So now I got to mention it. So the vortex is like just a place where it's within nature. And so in Sedona, there's 3-4 spots, and it just the energy that is felt within the nature there is just like nothing else. Um, I It's hard to explain, but I've from the history of it goes way back to the natives, and the the touch of like the mountains into the creek, for example, is one of the vortex. Is just the energy of them combining the creek and the ground and the mountains. It just provided the natives a huge amount of energy that they just transformed. Like really, it was like for myself, I've been to that spot even before I knew that it was a vortex, and that location of where it said that contains the most energy, it always stayed in my mind. And when I started practicing a lot of like grounding techniques, one of the grounding techniques was to go to a place that you feel safe, that you feel, and that came to my mind. And then later on I found out that that's a vortex, and I was like, wow, so it is really true, the energy that you get from it. So look it up, Sedona, Arizona, the vortex, and you'll see some more information on it. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it, so but I feel it, so that's why I'm saying look it up, get all the facts from it from Google there.
It sounds like we might have to throw a retreat there.
No, they hold a lot of retreats in Sedona for real.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, have a little spiritual journey trip there.
Yeah.
Awesome, Ty. Well, that's awesome. Good info. Wow. And you even mentioned grounding, which might come up a little bit important with our next guest.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna move on to the next one, Ty. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A couple of minutes. Vicky, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Austin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Can you tell me, who are you?
Yeah, I'm the addiction eliminator. So I help people to eliminate the obsession and the compulsion to turn to food or alcohol or exercise or both or all three, as and when they are coping with life and everything it throws at them in a desire to change the external when really they need to be changing the internal.
And you mentioned alcohol, food, and exercise.
Yes.
So if you are a late night snacker or currently have 2 bags of chips while you're doing a TV show.
Yeah.
Maybe Vicky's someone you need to talk to.
Yeah,
Shoot her a message.
especially if you find that 1 minute you're controlling and restricting, and then the next minute you've thrown in the towel and you're just eating everything in sight, and then you decide to exercise it all off to make yourself feel better. Yeah, doesn't work.
Cycle. Okay. All right. Well, that's a great Who Are You? If anyone's looking for any information there, her website's right on there below in the chat, or you can message us, do whatever. All right, Vicky, got a question for you. If I want to improve my spiritual health with nature, what simple tip would you recommend to me?
I would recommend you get outside barefoot every day.
Every day barefoot. So does that include outside walking on a sidewalk, or do you need to get your feet on some grass?
You don't have to walk. You can just stand. It could be concrete. It could be soil. It could be grass. It could be sand. Anywhere that is on the ground.
And no shoes and no socks.
No shoes, no socks, no matter what the temperature outdoors.
All right. So we got you and Ty telling us to go run out and catch pneumonia.
Yeah.
Just to improve our spiritual health. Oh man, today's gonna be a great day.
Yeah, and you want to ideally look up towards the sun, obviously not directly if the sun is out, but also feel that connection from the sky through your body to your feet.
Do you need to put your hands up?
You can. You don't have to. I tend to connect to my heart center at the same time, and I utilize that time as an opportunity to say my gratitudes for the day and to set my intentions.
So intentions, gratitude, take a pause, go outside. Man, these are all wrapping up. This challenge is going to be real easy. I already know what we're going to do. All right, Vicky, tell me about your background then. What did you do on your life journey to learn about all this?
So I did have a spiritual awakening, and nature was a part of that, incredibly enough. So I had a dependence on alcohol. I was also bulimic. So that is where you use food and then you binge, but you get rid of it. And in my case, it was throwing up and laxatives and exercise, because why do one when you could do all three? So
At least you can laugh about it now.
Yeah, exactly. So this is 19 years ago. And I was fortunate enough that, call it serendipity, call it a power greater than myself, that's what I choose to look at it, stepped in with circumstances that no one could have predicted happened, that meant that I immediately stopped drinking, and don't recommend it, having drunk for nearly 2 decades daily, was close to death, managed to get into rehab, and through that rehab got sent to a secondary in South Africa, where I went hiking for the very first time up a mountain. And that is where I really understood the power of nature, standing on the top of that mountain, looking out, seeing the sea and the sky meeting, and just being there. It was the most incredible moment. And lo and behold, we were all invited to take off our shoes and socks and just be present. And so for me, that is something that I took back with me home and just did it every day.
Where was this mountain?
So this was actually, it was in Cape Town. It wasn't the famous mountain in Cape Town, right? But it was near to where the rehab was. And we could go up there every week if we chose to. But it was that very first experience that really helped me to recognize that I didn't want to go back. There was only one way to go, and that was forward. And I didn't know what it was going to be like, because, I hadn't gone back to the UK yet, had no clue. But that for me was incredible.
That is pretty incredible. So 19 years ago, you were drinking, nearly died, went to rehab.
Yep.
Haven't drank since.
Not a drop. And the crucial thing is no desire to at all. Not even a rhythm. And that was actually removed the day that the stars collided, the universe stepped in, whatever. The day that I just stopped drinking, that was it. I had no desire to go back. None at all. And I've never had since. And if that's not a spiritual awakening, I don't know what else is.
That sounds pretty. Yeah. So you said you went to one rehab in England, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And then the second rehab went to South Africa.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little more why you went to two?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one that I went to was basically an emergency get her in, and the guy really, I guess, used his initiative and said, look, if you do relapse and you go back to the circumstances you were in, your body will not survive. I suggest that you go to South Africa, where we have a secondary rehab, which that facility didn't exist in the UK then. And so that's what I chose to do. And I never looked back. Never looked back. It was a completely different experience, the rehab in the UK to the one in South Africa. And I took so much back home with me. And that's what made me decide to do what I now do, because I realized that addiction was nothing to do with willpower, and this idea that I could change my outward appearance so that I could feel different about myself was just actually bonkers. But but that's what a lot of people still do. And so yeah, that's why the two rehabs, and I'm so grateful for that guy recognizing that that was the best decision for me.
That's pretty awesome. So we've got about like 20 seconds, but so let me ask. So if someone has an addiction, right? Financially, how did that take it? Did you have to pay for rehab? Was it covered by being a citizen of England? If someone has an addiction right now and they want to follow your journey, how can they get into maybe the South Africa rehab?
The fastest place is to get private funding if you can. If you want to get in there and do it fast, borrow, steal, beg. Well, don't steal, but borrow it if you can, because if you want something badly enough, we'll find a way. And here's the thing: once you have put down the addiction, if you're in business or you're working, the chances are you're going to be in a space and a place where you will be so much more productive, and you're going to be able to earn that money back. You will be able to pay it back. So just see it as a loan, if you like, if you're struggling with the financial side of things, but just do it however you can do it.
Yeah, so if you are going through addiction, going through something right now, please reach out to us, reach out to Vicky, reach out to virtually anyone. There's so many people in this world that want to help. It's specifically in Colorado or the Virgin Islands. I have tons of information and contacts there. I'm sure if you're in the UK, Vicky can help. But please reach out.
You don't have to go to rehab. I mean, for me, it was the best thing, and that was my journey. But as a lot of people do not need it because they're not actually addicted in the way that they think they are. They've just created a habit and they just need help to break it. So, let's be careful of labeling ourselves and allowing other people to label us addicts. You may just have a habit that's really comfortable and you just need to change it.
That's what happened with me. Yeah, 2.5 years ago, did 75 hard and haven't drank since. But we're running out of time, Vicky. Yeah. You are great. We love having you, but we got to bring everyone out. We got to bring Kim and Ty back out. Hey, Kim, how are you? And here's Ty. All right, guys, we got 7 minutes to do a couple things. First off, we got to talk about each other's tips. So let's start with Kim. Can you very quickly refresh what your tip was? And we'll have Ty and Vicky feed on it.
Sure. So it's just to pause, unplug, and breathe. So all the other things that are mentioned today, you can do in the pause.
Yes. So take a pause. I think both Ty and Vicky mentioned it, but Ty, go ahead and give us some feedback on that.
Yeah, I agree, Kim. Definitely. Going outdoors and then just pausing and looking at the sun shining right down on you. Like I said, for Austin, he can go outside and look at the rain and pause and just feel the rain coming down on you.
Drip on me, rain. Drip on me.
Do that for a good 30 seconds. And,
oh, man.
And, yeah.
Vicky, how do you feel about pause? I mean, you mentioned your intentions and gratitude, so it sounds like you already
yes. I love the pause, but I also think for a lot of people, when we say 15 minutes, they go, oh, that's a long time. Mm-hmm. So I think getting people to just stop and breathe, even if it's just for a minute or 2 minutes, is a really good way of teaching them the power of the pause. And I like to encourage people to do it before they move on to the next task on their to-do list. Just stop and pause and recognize what you've done and give yourself a moment before you rush on to the next thing. But yeah, I love the pause. Love it.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's awesome. I was going to just mention, there's so many different ways you can practice a pause. I'm learning how to speak on stage so much more and up-leveling myself. And I actually practice a pause when I'm speaking.
Powerful.
I like it. That's
Yeah.
good.
All right.
All right, Ty, do you want to quickly refresh what your tip was?
Yeah, just go outside and embrace whatever nature's giving you that day.
Snow, rain, sleet. Ty says, get the hell in it.
You can get something out of everything. I mean, like we're clearly in winter right now here in Arizona, and my tree up front in my front yard is bare, like has no leaves on it. Just embracing the fact that it has to go through that stage, just like us in life, and then later on to rejuvenate and get some more leaves.
Awesome. Vicky, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think being in nature is something that helps all of us to be more mindful. We can actually switch off and actually take in, what are you seeing? What are the colors? Like you said, notice the trees that have got no leaves. What are you smelling? Are you feeling wind on your face? What can you hear? And I think when we go outside, no matter, as you said, whatever the weather, there's always something for you to notice and just focus on that can take you out of a chattering over busy brain.
Kim, what are your thoughts on Ty's tip?
I totally agree with that. I actually like to take several breaks in my day, and I take a walk outside. I'm right now I'm on the ocean, and even when it was raining yesterday, drizzling or a little bit of light mist, I was out walking. You can get out there anytime, right? And I just love the feeling, as was mentioned, the feeling of it on my face, the sense that you get, the visions, the things you actually get to see when you're actually out walking, just beautiful. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Vicky, quickly refresh us what your tip is.
Yeah, so my tip was get outside barefoot every day.
Step on the snow or sleet if you've got it.
Yeah.
In Buffalo, I think they probably still have 40 feet of snow. Jump in that snow.
Yeah, just grounding yourself is something that's so powerful. And if you can just turn your head up towards the sky and feel that connection to your feet, it is so calming. From a physiological, neurobiological point of view, it's just awesome for your body, as well as helping you to connect back to nature.
All right, Ty, what are your thoughts?
I agree. Grounding is so important, and just feeling any moment. I mean, I practice that quite often. Any moment that I feel anxious and not understanding what's going on, I just need to stop, and the pause, and then the grounding of it, just touching. There's something about touching your feet, your hands to nature, to the dirt, to rocks, to anything like that. It's great.
Kim?
It's walking barefoot is another way of thinking or doing, right? So it's like thinking about it differently. Instead of wearing your shoes or putting your sandals on, taking your sandals or shoes off and walking and feeling it in a different way, feeling life in a different way. I just think that I love that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. What about picnics?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we gotta practice some more of that here. I was huge on it when I first met my wife, when we were just dating.
Yeah, see, it's a great date thing, but you forget about it.
Yeah.
But go on solo picnics.
Yeah.
Just don't eat too much, or Vicky's gonna yell at you. But get some grapes and some cheese and some crackers, and just go barefoot, chill, enjoy some views. But yeah, picnicking.
Yeah.
It's a great
All right,
community activity as well, isn't it? To get friends and family together, not just, really close friends, but to actually get to know people. Everybody just chills out.
I love that, actually. You know what? That just made me think, my networking events down here in the islands, I might switch it to a picnic. How fun would that be?
Ooh, that'd be great.
Have a little like charcuterie out in the middle. Oh man, on the beach, a little bonfire. Oh man, we just up leveled it. Woo! All right, guys, we have 30 seconds, and I spent very little time on this because it sounds like we've already got our challenge made. But give me some ideas. It's got to cost $0, take less than 5 minutes a day, and be done by anyone in the world from Fiji to the Himalayas. What are your ideas for a daily challenge?
I think we should pause. There's no time limit, right? So just maybe pause and start it, right? And then whatever falls into that space, maybe walking in nature and barefoot.
Ooh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I've got a little something else though. Go ahead, Ty.
No, I agree with Kim as well. If you have an Apple Watch, they have a really cool little thing where you breathe for a minute and you pause and you just there's a little message that it gives you for a minute. So doing all that together, going outside barefoot, I like it.
All right, so let's see if this will be our daily challenge. Vicky said something that resonated with me pretty well. So let's go outside, and if it's snowing or whatever, maybe shrink it. Maybe you only get an hour or a minute instead of 5 minutes. Maybe you only get 30 seconds. Let's go out and at least start with a nice pause, right? Enjoy nature, touch nature, let that rain hit you, let that 2 feet of snow freeze your feet, embrace it. Barefoot, let's add that. So we go out with a little pause, and then we ask 5 questions about each of our senses. What do I see? What do I smell? What am I hearing? Whatever the other 4 are, whatever. Does that sound good? Yeah, we got a little pause, we got our barefoot, and we got out in nature. And then when Vicky said, "What are you smelling?" that kind of hit me. I was like, yeah, we should go out there and just kind of, what things do I see? Trees without leaves, like Ty said, a little pause, a little breath, and just go out and get nature less than 5 minutes every day.
Yep.
And experience awe. Awe is wonderful. Awe is spiritual, and that's what we get from nature because it's always changing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love it.
All right, let me finish typing it up, and then we'll be done.
Woohoo!
Fantastic.
All right, I think it's official now. Go outside barefoot, experience nature by asking about your 5 senses, and then take a brief pause. I'll probably start with a brief pause in mine. But yeah, that's a great challenge, man. Another solid episode. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Thank you. And that concludes yet another episode of Millionaires Are Made. Today we talked about how to improve your spiritual health with nature. I'm chilling in a rainy island right now, and apparently I have to go run outside for this daily challenge. Go outside barefoot, experience nature, ask yourself, what am I smelling? What am I looking at? What do I see? What do I hear? What am I touching? And then take a brief pause just to relax and take it all in. Easy enough. Let's go improve our spiritual health.